Hello students, I am Dimple Tyagi, your English teacher. Today I will summarize you chapter number 3 from English Reader. The name of the chapter is The Peterkins Summer Journey. It is written by Lucretia Peabody Hale. She was an American journalist and author. She also wrote the novel Six of One by Half a Dozen of the Other and one more novel, The Wolf at the Door. The Peterkins family has Mr. and Mrs. Peterkins and their 6 children: Agamemnon, Solomon John, Elizabeth Elijah, and 3 little boys. The family does not lack money, only a bit of common sense. Their neighbor, the lady from Philadelphia, whom they considered very wise, often rescues them from trouble. In this story, the Peterkins family preparing to go on a journey over 2 summers. In fact, it was their last summer journey, for it had been planned then. But there had been so many difficulties, it had been delayed. The first trouble had been about trunks. The family did not own a trunk suitable for traveling. Mrs. Peterkin suggested her grandmother's trunk. This was a hair trunk, a very large and capacious. It would hold everything they would want to carry except that would go in Elijah's trunk or the valise and bags. Everybody was delighted at this idea. It was agreed that the next morning the things should be brought into Mrs. Peterkin's room for her to see if they could all be packed or not. The next morning, Mrs. Peterkin began by taking out the things that were already in the trunk. All day, Mrs. Peterkin worked over the trunk, putting away the old things, putting in the new ones. She packed up all the clothes she could think of, both summer and winter ones, because you never can tell what sort of weather you will have. Agamemnon fetched his books, dictionary, and an atlas still larger. This dictionary contained maps of all the countries in the world. Mr. Peterkin wanted to take his turning lathe and tool chest. The little boys wanted to take with them their India rubber boots in case it should not rain when they started. They each had a hoe and shovel and some baskets that were packed. Mrs. Peterkin called in all the family on the evening of the second day to show how she had succeeded. Everything was packed. Even the little boy's kite lay smoothly on the top. The next thing was to cord up the trunk, and Mr. Peterkin tried to move it, but neither he nor Agamemnon nor Solomon John could lift it alone or altogether. But because of the too heavy trunk, they have to postpone their journey this summer also. Because no one can lift the trunk, no one is able to lift the trunk, neither Mr. Peterkin nor Agamemnon nor Solomon John. They also have the idea about the expressman or about the hackman, but all the ideas have failed. So the journey is also postponed for the next summer. Mrs. Peterkin spent a day or two in taking the things out of the trunk and putting them away. At least she said, this has given me some experience in packing. Gradually, the old content of the trunk went back again to it. At length, a friend unexpectedly offered to lend Mr. Peterkin a good-sized family trunk. But it was late in the season, so the journey was put off for that summer. But now the trunk was sent round to the house, and a family consultation was held about packing it. Many things would have to be left at home. It was so much smaller than the grandmother's hair trunk. But Agamemnon had been studying the atlas through the winter and felt familiar with the more important places, so it would not be necessary to take it. And Mr. Peterkin decided to leave his turning lathe at home and his tool chest. Next summer, again Mrs. Peterkin spent 2 days in accommodating the things with great care and discretion. Discretion means the ability to make a good decision. And by borrowing 2 more leather bags, it could be accomplished. Everything of importance could be packed except the little boy's kite. What should they do about that? For that, they took the advice of the lady from Philadelphia because they thought her very wise. She suggested that they might leave this one at home and made new kite when they get there. Mr. Peterkin said that he might had leisure to help the children. Solomon John said that they would take plenty of newspaper to make the kite. But now there was a question with Peterkin's family. When should they go? It is very funny that they didn't decide the place where they would go. It is all because the lack of common sense in the whole family. Thank you, student, and I hope that you will be able to understand the story thoroughly. Thank you.